Hello! And welcome to Show of Force Majeure. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Steph Best. Oh, man. Hey, Jeremy! Jeremy Messersmith started one of his own live streams that happens every Monday nights. And I was thinking about challenging you to a duel, Jeremy. I don't know exactly what that duel is, but I just like the idea of hyper-aggressive Instagram live stream feeds. If you just stumbled in, my name is Dessa. This is the weekly show of Force Majeure. While we're all taking our seats and getting settled, I thought I'd start off this particular feed with just some fun facts. You know, I'm kind of a science guy. Some interesting tidbits about the way the world works. Fun facts. Tomatoes aren't actually vegetables. They're microaggressions. Even before the Chinese invented paper, wasps were making it. But before that, Christopher Columbus invented wasps. The Inuit language has only 12 words for snow. And that's it, no other words. You can fashion a battery from pennies. Simply collect a few hundred pennies and take them to Walgreens to buy a battery. A newborn baby has a hole at the top of its skull, which must be taped shut so he does not escape through it during the night. Most of your sense of taste is really your sense of smell. If you plug your nose and bite into an onion, you wouldn't be able to tell it from biting into your own fist. That's true. There are no two fingerprints. So good luck. A lot of this stuff is a writer that I dig and that I make doesn't fit easily into like a single genre like poetry or fiction or nonfiction. And that makes it super hard to sell, but that's why I like it. So I figured, hey, what time like a quarantine to read some of the weird shit, you know? Okay. This is a recent kind of tech writing exercise, I guess. It's a set of instructions called How to Stage Dive. Pay attention to your posture while you are practicing your guitar. High school is a good time to start. Teach your fingers to move independently, as if they're a team of strangers you've drafted for a heist. At the open mic, speak and sing more slowly than feels natural. Time moves differently up there, and always will. Accept every performance that you can, and when you get a plain envelope with cash in it, pay a little tax anyway. The lamest shows in coffee shops or rec centers will be the most important of your career, because the shy kid in the back grows up to work for Warner. Download a free photo editing app on your phone. Make flyers for every show and tag everyone playing it. Listen to the Council of Veteran Performers. If their advice challenges your basic assumptions about art, follow it because it will improve your work. If their advice violates your fundamental intuitions about art, disregard it because it will dilute your work. There is no way to tell those two scenarios apart. Arrive on time, even if the headliner is late. Don't eat or drink anything expensive backstage unless you are invited to. When you finally get to go on tour, carry reserves of aspirin, allergy medicine, and hot sauce. This habit will double your value to the touring party. Stand by the merch booth after the show. If you played well and you have a Sharpie in your hand, it will occur to someone to ask for an autograph. And then a line will form. No one is named Hey Sound Man. Hire people who you trust. Keyboard can be learned. Character cannot. Do not trash the green room. Little clubs are owned by the same people who own big clubs, and you will need to come back to Omaha someday. Yes, grilled cheese can be made with the hotel iron. Do it once and then get over it. The grease ruins everybody's clothes. Help load in the heavy gear. The band will notice. and they will talk about this when you are not around. You will fall in love with someone who will eventually complain that your life does not have room for them. They will be objectively correct. Find a way through it if you can. But it's okay if you cannot. Your van will be robbed. Take the merch cache and your laptop inside every night. Your interests are rarely aligned with those of photographers. Decide how you want to look, even if you have never cared about it before. When your name is on the marquee, take a photograph. You are allowed. Perform at least one song very well during sound check. The bartenders are listening. They are the viceroys here, with the ear of the booker whose pen signs your check. Test your in-ear monitors before every show to make sure the necessary frequencies are clear. In some cities, you'll pick up chatter from police radios. White shirts will show sweat rings. Tight stripes confuse the TV cameras. We all wear black for a reason. Be the first one on the bus so you can pick a bunk. Sleep with your feet in the direction of travel on overnight drives. You can recover from broken ankles. European promoters will promise that there is room for the whole band in an apartment above the venue. Trust them. It's awesome there. Invite the openers to help themselves to the cheap beers. Save the good stuff for your people. And pick a city where you have a strong draw, preferably a sellout. Wait until the last half of the set. Play your second biggest single and ask the band to loop the outro. Walk to the edge of the stage, lift your arms, take a small step that puts your toes over the edge. The front 2 rows will know already. They are close enough to see what you are thinking. Rock twice in time with the music to prime them, and then jump. Land on your back on their bed of palms. You will not feel weightless. You will feel the full heft of your grown body muscled up to the light by drunk people of varying heights. You will want to lift your head to look back at your band, your friends on stage, to say, "This is insane," or "Come and join me," but you do not have time for that. Now, you have to focus. Look up at the ceiling, the light trusses, the calcified smoke. Feel the fingers curl around your ankle. Listen to the voices below coordinating your safe passage. Make yourself into a battery to store some of this feeling. It is the currency of your life, and it is only ever dispensed this way, sandblasted. There will be many months and some years where you receive no payments at all, and you will need to draw on this reserve of elation and arrogance and selflessness and communion while your friends buy dogs and houses. You can't steer, really. The crowd will set you back on stage when it is time. Tap your mic, make sure the channel hasn't been muted, and start your biggest single. Thanks, guys. Well, this time around, I solicited a few questions from Twitter sphere, I guess, before starting. And I thought maybe I'd answer 1 or 2 of those. So I mentioned online that I caught a New York Times profile of Weird Al Yankovic, a musician, like talking about his creative process. I stopped doing the dishes because I was so freaked out. I'd never heard anybody's process feel so similar to my own. You know, it was like someone was describing my weekdays peering through the windows. And and one of the questions asked was, that Weird Al has all of these iterations of his songs that he keeps handy as he moves. And somebody asked, "Do you have those too?" And the answer is yeah. for the songs that are really hard to write, I have a lot of iterations that I'll come up with during the creative process, and then sort of like A and B after that initial heat and fury of the first draft has cooled, you know? So I know that for the song Annabelle, for example, I made a flow chart of like, if you do this 4-bar, move this way. If you cut this 4-bar, continue to plan B. So yeah, sometimes they get pretty intense. I think being someone who's really invested in the lyrics, that's a big part of the appeal for me. Okay. Thanks for the kind words online. No problem, Allison. Happy to answer the question. Okay, guys, I'm doing a new feature here, so bear with for a second. Yes. Okay. This time around on Show Force Majeure, I think we're going to have a guest or two. But also, you may have heard the fact that my Okay. Now I'm going to ask that all of the assembled attendees please welcome Matthew Santos to the stage. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm in Minneapolis. You're in
Los Angeles.
In LA.
Yeah.
Thanks for being game to join.
Of course, I realized just a moment ago.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Should
we use this as an announcement for next week, or do you have it?
Sure. No, I after doing a search on the interwebs, I was not able to find.
Okay. So Matthew, I'm so excited to talk to you next week.
Me? 3.
Okay.
This has been super real.
Super real. I'll see you then.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions, and then it's gonna be time for our nightly clap. Yeah. Okay, so one of the other questions that was sent in had to do with with lyric writing. Kat online asked, "Where's your favorite place to write lyrics, and do you keep a journal on hand?" In non-quarantine times, I find that when I'm stuck, walking really helps. And I know that a lot of writers have super fancy names for that. An essayist who I admire, called Philip Lopate, used to call it the peripatetic technique. But when you look up peripatetic, that just means walking. So it's sort of a distinction without a difference. But I do find that if you're trying to kind of muscle through a line, wrestle a song into existence, that it can help just to have the flash of imagery that naturally assaults you as you're moving through the world. So if I'm sitting at my desk, if I had a desk, if I'm sitting on my secondhand love seat with my computer on my lap, and I'm trying to figure out how to end a chorus, the only raw material at my disposal is my imagination, which might have already been fatigued, and then the very familiar environment in which I live. Whereas if I'm walking, I'm exposed to all sorts of unplanned things, the strangers passing by, the yelping dogs, the way the lake looks different every day. So I find that if nothing else, it provides kind of an onslaught of grist, the rough material that maybe you can be jump-started into a creative moment. Okay, where I live in Central Time, it's now 8 p.m., which means that I'm going to open my window and clap to thank the health professionals and first responders. If you're in Central Time too, feel free to join. Thank you. Okay. Yes, somebody in the comments mentioned overheard conversations. Oh, those are great grist for songs. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to, this time around, display a Venmo account. As is ever the case, this is a totally free live stream. If you are worried about your own financial security or where cash is coming from, keep your money in your pocket. But this time around, I'm going to be donating some proceeds to the Southside Family Nurturing Center. and also to a collaborator for this evening's show. So if you can see it, that's the Venmo account. Fantastic. And then I'll just have our graphics guy. Yeah, can I just have that flown out? Perfect. Great. And I saw that before this evening's show began, people had posted a few pictures of their outfits in cocktail attire from the waist up. That's fun. So if you're inclined and you enjoyed a moment of semi-civilization, feel free to take a snap. And we're all posting to the hashtag show of force majeure. Cheers. Oh, last week I broke my very last wine glass. So it's all tumblers from here up. Okay. This time we have a special musical guest. We are leaving my apartment. Here we go. We're not going very far. Okay, just into the hallway. Yes. Okay.
Hi.
Fantastic. And now we are joined by my neighbor down the hall,
What up, everyone?
Lot. Hello, Lot.
Hello. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, considering everything's, everything's what it is. But,
I feel like I'm probably the luckiest, independent rapper as far as trying to produce, live stream content for free on our iPhone, and that I just happen to live next door to a violinist. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome, of course. I got the memo of the formal up top. So.
We're gonna do a couple of verses and a couple of choruses, and then call it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So maybe a quick count. Double jointed, triple threat. I'm not some method actress trying to see my descent. You're gonna have to play the tape back and save that breath for quiet practice. Got no time for my detractors standing on my staircase. All you was a fire hazard. I put my time. I'm vetted, uncontested. See how an honest answer shuts down? Motherfuckers asking trick questions. I'm out here arms wide, hiding nothing. I've done it all in broad daylight. I'm at the cameras. And I shine in the camera. My secret is I can keep my say something. Go ahead and say something. I ain't afraid of it. I'm down, mostly down. If I had to way to rise somehow, skin the crowd is out. Coming out and out. Don't see too many right now. I don't need an agenda. I just tell the truth. Let it off the leash. Don't touch it. It knows what to do. I'm running a tight ship. Every deckhand here has a 5-year plan and an ice pick. They get right coat, they can grab a stick. I got active money when I high kick. Don't think I don't block. I'm a bleeder. All I do is hit. I don't want them all, but I'd say I'd take 5 out of 6. Crocs ready to glove up. If you insist, okay, let's see who's really counting. Who's been counterfeit? I'm a phoenix. Better shine in the camouflage. My secret is I can keep my say something. Go ahead and say something. I ain't afraid of it. I'm mostly down. It finds a way to rise somehow. See the crowd is out, coming out and out. Don't see too many rivals now. Lot. Excellent. Oh. Okay. Ready? All right. That was Lot. And I'll be posting her Instagram information at the end of our show so you can follow her there. Thanks, Lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Back into the apartment. Fantastic. Well, thanks again for tuning in. One more time, if you're inclined, that's the Venmo. If you're not inclined or you're worried about next or the month after, don't sweat it. Perfect. But this week's proceeds, Tom, will be going to Southside Family Nurturing Center and to the musicians who participated. Nothing left to do but the credits. Tom, on graphics, thank you so much. Matthew Santos, in anticipation of his appearance next week on the Force Majeure. And of course, Lot. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.